The Booch Ball, the only podcast on the internet talking kombucha and college sports. I'm Alex, joined as always by my lovely co-host Freed. How you doing over there, Freed?
Doing great, man. How you doing?
I'm good. We are once again coming at you live for week 2 of the college football season. And you know we had to do it. We had to bring him back. It's none other than he looks a little different than how you've seen him on TV, but he's going through some legal stuff, so he's kind of changing his look, which I think is a smart move. Very smart. It's Aggie Donald Trump. Welcome back to the podcast, sir.
Well, it's absolutely fantastic to be here. Yeah, after the mug shots, I had to grow a mustache to kind of hide from the public for a while.
Well, you look good. I love the hat. I love the shirt. All Aggied out. The Aggies took one to us last year, but this Saturday, back in Miami, we're going to see what happens.
Probably going to lose. I hate to tell you that, but you're probably going to lose, just like you did at our home stadium in College Station, Texas.
That's right. For those of you who are uninitiated, Aggie Donald Trump, this is a special version. It's kind of like the opposite of Dark Brandon. You know how like Joe Biden goes into Dark Brandon mode? This is how like Trump goes into Aggie Donald Trump mode when there's a big Aggie game, because he's a huge Texas A&M fan, which you might not know because he's, from New York and went to Penn, but he is an Aggie fan, right?
Exactly. Look, okay, hullabaloo, connect, that's what I always say.
That's what he always says. He's always saying this, folks. It's great to have you back, Mr. President. It's week 2 of the college football season, and luckily we're coming off some hot wins. The Canes beat Miami, Ohio in the Confusion Bowl. Jay Alter, our announcer friend and our original guest on the first week of the podcast, called an excellent game. I only think it was something to do with his calling it that we won 38-3, Freed.
Absolutely. I actually caught a mistake right at the end, right before ESPN signed off. He said something about Miami University wins, and then boom, it's off.
Fuck.
He was so close.
He had a perfect game going. That's
Yeah.
all right. We love Jay out there. But Canes win, and the Aggies had a dominant showing against arguably the worst team in college football, New Mexico. Congrats.
Well, frankly, it's a win for me because we lost to Appalachian State the last season, and frankly, I didn't know what to do.
Fake news on that one.
Good people in Appalachia, though. Good people out there.
There's a lot of great people. Okay, some people don't like me. I don't see why. They absolutely love me. But anyway, some people don't, and that's okay.
That's perfectly fine. Well, we're glad to have you here. Booch Ball, week 2. We are back. And folks, we've got a very, very special summer edition here on Booch Ball today. It's time to tell you what we're drinking.
How about this patriotic kombucha from GT Dave and Friends, summer edition? Unity, presidential kombucha.
Wow. Would you look at that? It's the GT's Unity, made with cherry, coconut, and lemongrass. Because I don't know about you, Mr. President, but nothing says America like cherry, coconut, and lemongrass.
Well, I do love grass, I'll tell you that.
Is that true? I didn't realize that. All right, folks. Well, let's go ahead and pop this thing open. We have a bunch of arms grasping each other, a bunch of red and blue arms kind of, I would say, creepily grasping each other. Is that supposed? What does that mean? What is that?
Of Unity, don't you know?
Well, no one knows Unity like Donald Trump. That's what I've always said.
Look, I'm the king of Unity, okay?
Well, let's go ahead and crack this thing open and see if we're all unified on our taste test here, boys. Let's see what we're working with here.
Alex, have you had this one before?
No, never. Have you?
I think I have. I don't remember it though.
Excellent insight on our live feed from Freed. He thinks he has, but he doesn't remember. Ooh, very cherry. Lots of cherry up top. Let's go ahead and take a taste here.
I'm into this.
Beautiful notes of cherry and coconut. And you know what? You got that little tiny hint of lemongrass at the very end. It's absolutely fantastic.
A little hint of grass. It is good. I can tell that this is a delicious Booch. It's perfect for summer edition. I saw this in my fridge. I've had it in there for about a month waiting for the show, and it's a strong start. But I will say this with some GTs, they have a tendency to start strong, but then finish a little syrupy sweet towards the end. So I'm interested to see how this progresses along the way.
Start strong, fade throughout the year. What football team could that be?
Okay, look, don't be talking about my team, okay?
The fact that you thought it was about your team and we were thinking it was about our team. I mean, there's a lot of things that, we're really unified in our teams, I feel like, because Miami and Texas A&M had very similar seasons
Tough years last year, right?
Both
Tough years.
5-7. Well, before we get too far, I think we've told you what we're drinking, the GT Synergy Unity. Folks, it's now time to tell you what we're thinking.
What we are thinking, and there's a lot of things. A lot of things.
You're thinking, I'm sorry. We are thinking, and frankly, look, we're thinking about tremendous amounts of things, large sums of things.
That's very true. Folks, we got a lot of stuff we're thinking about. Obviously, we got a big matchup with Texas A&M and Miami coming to town. Actually the other way around. It's Texas A&M coming to town at Miami this time around. And Freed, I know we've got some questions for the president here. You can listen to your Miami Texas A&M, matchup talk anywhere else, but on Booch Ball today we have Donald Trump, Aggie Donald Trump, and we've got some questions for him. Freed, why don't you lead us off?
Absolutely. So last year we got some great insight from our boy Aggie DT. Talked about food in College Station, Lane's chicken, but the cane sauce. You dip the Lane's chicken in the cane sauce. You're not going to get that anywhere else. We're going to our home turf this time, but it's also your home turf. You're a South Florida guy, Mar-a-Lago. So here's the thing. We know what you were eating last year. This year, when you're driving down to Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, where are you going to stop to get some grub?
Well, believe it or not, look, okay, my favorite place to go on road trips is McDonald's. Mainly because it's got my name in it, but that's besides the point. The food is great. And when we pull up to the drive-thru in my motorcade and I say, we are going to order a cheeseburger, probably two, we're not quite sure. I need a 10-piece chicken nugget meal and all the fries that you have, a large Coca-Cola, the biggest in the building, and I need a metric ton of ketchup because I'm painting the entire town red as I pull into the stadium.
Wow, you heard it here first, folks. The best place to go if you're going on a Miami road trip is McDonald's.
Mr. Trump, if you get the chance, maybe after the game, I know it's a little out of the way, try to make your way to Versailles in Miami. Get you some Cuban food. That's what it's all about.
I absolutely love Cubans. This will be great.
Mr. Trump, can I just have you pronounce Calle Ocho?
Calle Ocho.
Excellent. You basically sound like a native, sir. That's incredible. He's multilingual on top of all of his other accomplishments.
Well, look, I speak all the languages, okay? You have to be if you're president. It's a rule. You have to speak all the languages. But frankly, look, I was born speaking all the languages because I am who I am.
Dale.
Didn't Popeye say that? Isn't that a Popeye quote?
Yeah, what? Okay? But he got the quote from me and kind of twisted it like everyone else in this world.
That's right.
Well, I'm assuming you're going to bring the missus down with you. I mean, you got to get there early enough to tailgate. You're going to have your food. Like, you got any good tailgating stories for us? What have you and Melania been getting into?
Oh, boy. Okay, well, that's a really great question. So the last time we went tailgating was actually at the Miami game last year. You were there, but you didn't go tailgating with us, but you were there. We ate ballpark franks, even though we were in a football stadium. They sold ballpark franks. And we played a cornhole in washers and drank lots of beer, and we held hands, and it was absolutely fantastic. And then we walked into the stadium with you and your better half, and Miami lost. No surprise there, but Miami lost, and it was an absolute tremendous day.
It was pretty tremendous. It actually was. We enjoyed ourselves. I wish we could have tailgated. Some ballpark franks.
Did you guys have like box seats, or did you guys get some kind of special presidential suite, or what happened there?
Okay, when I'm in Aggieland, I don't like to act like I'm royalty or a president or anything like that. I am, but I probably shouldn't when I'm in Aggieland. So we bought seats on the fourth tier on the north side, facing the goal, so we could see everything. It's perfect. You get a lot of wind. It's absolutely tremendous. And I keep those seats every single year. So if you'd like to come down and see a game, you're more than welcome to.
Oh my God, I might just have to take you up on that offer, Mr. Trump. How often do you get a chance to watch a ball game and eat a ballpark frank with the president himself?
Yeah, recently a lot, okay?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we were just blended in up there with the 12th man. Don't call him the 13th man, you know?
Look, he came,
But we won't.
like, he's the only one in an orange jersey, and he's like, are people going to give me a hard time? I said, no, we're not going to give you a hard time. We absolutely love you. No one's going to give you a hard time over here because we have great sportsmanship.
And also, the Aggies don't have to give Miami fans a hard time because I think rightfully so. They were probably pretty confident going into that game.
Yeah, that's just classic Texas A&M unity right there. And
Good
cheers to that, sir. All right, so
Or
we're talking a lot about unity, and it's awesome that you have that sportsmanship connection between Miami and Texas A&M fans, and they can all get along, and that's fantastic. But quite frankly, there has been a lot going on in this country that has really tested my belief in unity. So despite the GT synergy trying to make a change in the world, there's been some really nasty accusations flying around. And one in particular that I wanted to get your opinion on, Mr. Trump, is what happened with the Northwestern football team, because there was, frankly, I think, ballpark, frankly, I keep using that word, it's on the brain. What happened there, just to me, seemed like a bit of a miscarriage of justice. I mean, the Northwestern coach was presiding over the team, and he was a great player, and he was building up the team. He was working on trying to build a program, but all of a sudden, accusations from, I'll just say it, journalists. We're talking a lot of crap about Northwestern and saying that there was some kind of hazing going on with the program, and that the players were running around naked and having to beat each other up inside locker rooms and things like that, which to me is just locker room talk. So I wanted to get your opinions on the Northwestern hazing scandal, if you want to call it that. Witch hunt or no witch hunt, sir?
Well, frankly, I think it's a witch hunt. I mean, if it were true, look, this kind of discrimination between people, whether it be physical or anything else, is absolutely diabolical, and we won't stand for it in America. But I think it's a witch hunt, and believe me, I've been on a lot of witch hunts here lately. Hillary Clinton, Nancy Pelosi, and all of the other ones, okay?
Yeah, I had a feeling that's what you were going to be thinking about, the witch hunt there. So, Godspeed to him and all of his men. And, hopefully somebody can bring the real criminals to justice, the journalists at the Northwestern Journalism School.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just tons and tons of fake news. Everywhere you go, it's all fake news.
Exactly. All
Fake
right.
news or not, Northwestern's going to be pretty bad this year.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. All right,
All
Freed.
right, so yeah, I got another question for you. So, what football players, coaches, whoever you want, who would you most compare to Ron DeSantis?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, I think, look, politically wise, I don't agree with the guy. He's a bastard, and that's just how it is. Hey, look, he's a great guy from Miami. I love Miami, but politically, I don't agree with him. But he's extremely good at what he does. He's a top tier guy. Okay, I would probably rank him up there with Saban.
Saban, okay, all right.
He's tremendous at what he does. He's not as me, probably never be as good as me, but that's besides the point.
I was about to say I would have definitely put you in the Saban range. I don't know. I feel like you're giving him too much credit, honestly.
If I win as president, I would absolutely love him to join me as vice president, because we would absolutely revolutionize America, and it would be absolutely great. We'd have lower fuel prices, and believe me when I tell you, the fuel prices are higher than a giraffe's ball sack at the moment. We got to do something about it. But he's a great guy. Politically, don't really agree with him much, but he's a great guy.
Okay, so it seems like maybe you and Mike Pence aren't on great terms anymore. I mean, do you have a comp for him here?
Don't get me started, okay? He's got a real Ken Crandall vibe, okay? This guy could lose at losing, okay? A lot of people say you can't win losing, but this guy, he loses for losing, believe me when I tell you, and it's a lot more than 132, okay? I'm just saying.
Who's Ken Crandall? Who?
Ken Crandall is the worst football coach in the history of football.
Who does he coach for?
Nobody else.
All right.
I haven't heard of him.
One more comp for you while we're on the subject. What about the homie Vivek?
Again, I think he's tremendous at what he does, okay? I wouldn't quite rank him a Saban. I would probably say he's somewhere in the Jimbo Fisher status. Like he's a great guy. Sometimes he does good. Sometimes he does terrible. Who knows? We'll see what happens this year, though.
I'd think of him more as like a Brian Kelly almost. You know, he's a fast talker. He's kind of like fits in with whatever. He's a little bit of a snake oil salesman, a little bit in a good way.
Yeah, he kind of mirrors the situations that he's in, but he's okay at what he does. I mean, now look, he has a pharmaceutical company, and you know how I feel about pharmaceuticals right now. But he's doing an okay job.
Jimbo gave up some control this year. I wonder if that's something he could potentially do. Maybe as a VP, got to give up a little control, hire a new offensive coordinator.
Well, what he needs to do is step down and let me take over. Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's what we've always been saying here on Booch Ball. All right, Freed, you got any more political comps?
No.
All right. Well, moving away from the political arena, I'm very curious to get your thoughts on the person who right now is kind of taking center stage in college football, and that is none other than Neon Deion Primetime Sanders. He just coached the boys of Colorado to a big win over Texas Christian University in your favorite state. At TCU, an incredible performance. His son threw for 500 yards. Travis Hunter playing both sides of the ball. And Neon Deion is not taking he's not taking anything from anybody. He's keeping all these receipts, and he wants to know. He actually called out, again, a journalist, called him out for not believing in the team and wouldn't even take his question when he said he wouldn't believe in him. Neon Deion's got a big brash style. I'm just wondering what you think about Deion Sanders.
Well, frankly, I don't think there's a better coach for Colorado, and I love Colorado. It's a tremendous state. But I don't think there's anyone better. The only person that could be better than him would be me. Okay, and frankly, I don't want to coach Colorado, but he has built such a career for himself in professional football, and now coaching in collegiate football. And frankly, I don't think anyone could do it better than he does. And I can't wait to see his primetime dance after all of his successes this season.
Wow, very good. Do you think, would he fit in on any one of your cabinet positions or anything like that if you had the opportunity?
Have him as vice president.
Oh my God, getting the nod over Ron DeSantis. All right, amazing. So
wins one game and he's getting VP. Can we slow the roll here like a little bit? TCU doesn't even have their whole team from last year.
I've known him for a tremendously long time, okay, since he was in the NFL and since he was in college, and even as a little tiny boy, okay, we were neighbors and we had lots of great times, okay? And he's one of the best guys I know. I'd love to have him in my cabinet.
That's fantastic. Well, I had a feeling that you and Neon Deion would be on the same page. And speaking of Neon Deion Primetime, one of the things about you, Mr. Trump, is that you have so many nicknames that you're just rattling off. Everybody gets a nickname, whether it's Sleepy Joe Biden or it's Low Energy Jeb. Everybody in the political arena gets a nickname from you. But what Deion has done is he gives himself nicknames. And that's the thing I've always been a little bit curious about from you, is that Donald Trump doesn't really has a nickname for himself. Now, do you use any nicknames in private, or are there any nicknames that you want to try to get out there to the American people?
Well, frankly, look, there's a lot of things that people call me. Some people call me a great guy. Some people call me a piece of shit. But you know what? Frankly, look, my nicknames range from Trumpty Dumpty, Dumpster, to absolute badass. But my favorite one of all is the Trumpinator because I'm like a cybernetic organism from the most powerful place of Cyberdyne, just wreaking hell on all of the liberals that stood in my way. And so for me, I think Trumpinator would probably be my favorite one.
Wow. The Trumpernator. All right, folks. You heard it here first on Booch Ball, the exclusive interview with former President Donald J. the Trumpinator Trump. Incredible stuff out of you. All right. Well, folks, we've told you what we're drinking. The GT Synergy Unity. And Freed, how are we doing over there? Can we do a quick Booch barometer? What are we thinking?
Yeah, let's hop in real quick. This is pretty good. It has that prototypical GT sweetness, a little sweet, a little sour. I'm happy with this. It hits the summertime vibes. I didn't have dinner tonight. A little hungry for Booch. I'm happy here.
All right. Mr. Trump, any thoughts?
Frankly, look, it's probably the best one I've ever had. I mean, the cherry at the beginning, the coconut right there in the middle, like an ice cream sandwich or an Oreo cookie. At the end, you have a little bit of the lemongrass. It's absolutely tremendous.
Yeah, it's a cherry forward. The coconut is really what's emanating from this Booch. And you know, Freed, we don't see too many coconut Booches out there, which is kind of interesting.
It's almost a snow coney, but not overpowering. Like a nice cherry coconut snow cone.
That is interesting. Could I have you?
It's like a cherry snow cone with a little bit of lemonade at the end.
That's right. I agree.
Trumpty Dumpty.
Look, Dumpty built a great wall, okay?
I set that one up.
Didn't Trumpty Dumpty fall off the Great Wall, or what happened there?
That you're getting it mixed up with Humpty Dumpty, okay? He dumped the Great Wall. He didn't fall off of it.
Okay, yeah. Unlike Humpty Dumpty, who is a loser, I think we can all agree. All right, folks. Told you what we're drinking, what we're thinking. It's now time for us to decide who are the winners and losers for the upcoming week 2 of college football. It's now time for us to tell you who we're picking.
Who we are picking?
Oh,
had a little southern twang to it. All right, Freed, start us off. What do we got?
All right, week 2. We got some interesting interconference matchups this week. How about Ole Miss favored by 7.5 points, traveling down to the Big Easy to face off with Tulane, Group of 5 darlings of the season. Alex, start us up.
That's right. Tulane. Well, you could either get on the Tulane or you could hop on the Lane train. And Freed, I'm sticking with my guns here. All aboard, Lane train. Whatever season it is, all aboard, folks.
I'm right there with you. I don't know, man. Tulane, yeah, they won a big bowl last year. Had a great season. They're the darlings of this year. I think Ole Miss can take them by more than a touchdown. Easy enough. Trumpinator.
Well, I couldn't agree more with you, Eric. I think that's actually a pretty accurate statement.
Yeah, SEC bias, right?
Obviously so.
All right, folks. Next up, we've got Texas, the Longhorns, traveling to Alabama this year after a very close matchup last year and in Texas. Who do you got there, Freed?
Well, Bama versus TU. Give me the big dogs. Saban.
Interesting. All right, Freed. You know, usually you got to pick Alabama at Alabama. But what some people might not know, except for the loyal Boochies of this show, is that Quinn Ewers was the first ever college athlete to receive an NIL deal from a kombucha company. And for that reason and that reason alone, I've got Texas in this one.
What do you think, Trumpinator?
I could not look. For me, you can't spell stupid without TU, okay? And I'll tell you this, okay? Alabama is going to steamroll them, okay? Especially since they're at their own stadium. I can't wait to see the game. They're a bunch of losers, and they'll always be losers in my eyes.
There you go.
All right, let's get away from the SEC for a minute. How about Oregon? 6.5-point favorites against Texas Tech. Texas Tech lost in overtime to Wyoming last week. Alex, what do you think? Bounce
Yeah.
back?
I'm thinking no bounce back. I think Oregon's coming to town after putting up like 81 points and like breaking. I don't know if they broke a record, but no one scored 80 points in like 30 years or something. So, yeah, I think they're going to win by a little bit more than 6.5, Reed.
All right, well, they were playing Portland State. It's an FCS level team. There was a lot of hype coming into the year for Texas Tech. That hype was there for a reason. They got up 17-zip on Wyoming, and then they fell off the wagon. But I think Oregon is going to cover this game, although strange things happen in Lubbock. Trumpy?
Well, frankly, who likes Tech anyway? I mean, I agree with you boys. I think that Oregon's going to whoop their asses.
Simple as that, folks. All right, now we're moving on to the matchup of the week, folks. That's right. Now, this is a big one here, and Mr. Trump, I'm hearing that you're actually pulling double duty here. I'm hearing that not only are you going to be at the Texas A&M Miami game, but you're going to be hopping on Air Force One and making it out to see the game of the week, Iowa -4 at Iowa State, the Cyclones. It's going to be a big one.
Well, we'll see what happens. You know, I don't have Air Force One anymore. I got Trump Force One, and well, frankly, it's a lot better than Air Force One. I got two of them, actually. But we'll see what happens. I'm excited. I'm tremendously excited to see what's going to happen this season with all the teams. And we'll see. We'll see what happens.
All right. So Iowa by 4 points. Listen, Iowa State is they're going to be Big 12 bottom feeders this year. Frankly, they don't have a whole lot of their team left from last year. Matt Campbell was a hot NFL coaching prospect like 3 years ago, and it's gone way downhill since. He may not even have a job at the end of the season. Iowa's going to win and cover.
Freed, I may regret doing this, but since I had such a hot start to week 1 at 5-0, I just can't in good conscience pick Iowa to win or cover any games this season by any amount. I believe the final score last year was 7-3. And so for that reason, I'm actually picking Iowa State to lose by 3 points, but still get the cover.
Offensively challenged.
For sure.
Mr. Trump, which of the Iowans are you going with?
You know, I don't choose sides. So, well, actually, I do choose sides. But with this one, I'm going to remain neutral, okay? I really haven't seen a lot of their...
Go for the push. Do the push. Say that you're going to take the push.
Exactly. I'll take the push, okay?
All right. So
that's never happened on Booch Ball before. This is a first-time thing. You're changing the game, Mr. President.
Well, I'm a game changer, okay? You put me in anything, and I'm a game changer, especially in karate, okay?
Karate.
The blackness of my belt is like the inside of a coffin on a moonless night. And whoop anyone's ass, okay? I'm absolutely tremendous at everything I do.
Wow, that was incredibly poetic. I've never really heard that kind of side of you before. A metaphor, even.
Poetic guy.
Wow.
I have no doubt at all that they set the spread at 4 so that Iowa could win by 2 safeties.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
But you know what, Freed? I'm actually going to do something unprecedented to the show.
Unprecedented?
I'm changing unprecedented.
Look, don't talk about unprecedented, okay? You're going to make me pissed off, and I'm going to have to fly all the way to wherever you're at right now and whoop your ass.
I'll never tell. Freed, I am calling for the push as well. I'm calling for a 4-point exacto. Iowa beats Iowa State. That's what I'm calling.
You know, I was actually thinking about that this morning. Like, I thought, what if I projected the push and got it?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
You don't have to think about it anymore. It's happening right here live
cyberkinetic Trump-and-away-tronics stuff going on right now.
Absolutely. Cyberdyne. That's where I'm from.
All right, Freed. I'm about at the end of this old Booch here. What do you think it's time for?
It's time to finish our sediment and scrape the bottom of the college football barrel with our sediment pick.
Very good. Bottoms up, boys.
All right.
Tasty.
In honor of Aggie Trump And Texas Freed, how about an all Houston matchup? We got Houston -10 traveling all the way to Rice, which is about 7 miles from the Houston campus. That's going to be a fun one. I might even go to that game. Blake, Trump, whoever
Wait,
you
who's
are.
Blake? It's my pick.
No, I was just going to say, bring the wife, bring the baby. Come on down. Let's go to the game.
Frankly,
All right, Alex, who you got?
Hey, we're talking about U of H and Rice here. I mean, this is some pretty rough areas, okay?
Who you picking,
right.
Alex?
All right, I'm gonna go with the rocket scientists over at Rice here. I found out recently that Rice is a good school.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that only because I've only known of their football team and their football team not being good. But then someone was like, oh, yeah, it might be applying to Rice or one of the top schools. And I was like, oh, Rice is a good school.
It's an inverse correlation. Why do you think Vanderbilt sucks at football?
Fair enough. For that reason alone, I'm going with Rice.
I've been taking favorites all day, and I'm not going to stop now. Houston by 1 million.
Interesting.
That's
Trumpinator?
Number, okay?
Trumpinator, what's the call?
I think I'm going to go Rice on this one, okay? I hate to disagree with you, Eric, but I think I'm going to go Rice on this one.
Okay, fair enough. Well,
why, you don't like agreeing with me because I live in Brooklyn? Is that why?
I absolutely love Brooklyn, okay?
All right, fair enough. All right, boys, we've made it through the sediment. It's now time to do the very last thing on the Booch Ball podcast. Actually, the penultimate thing on the Booch Ball podcast. It's time for a little kombucha canes here. We've got Texas A&M favored by 4.5 points, traveling down to Calle Ocho, down in Miami. Freed, what will be the final score?
it's all going to come down to will quarterback Tyler Van Dyke be able to hold the ball with a splint on his little hurt index finger? Will he be able to throw the ball far enough? I think he will. I think Miami wins. We'll be happy. Everyone's happy. Blake's not going to be happy.
I don't know who that is.
I don't either. Trump's not going to be happy. Miami 24, A&M 17.
Oh boy, a low-scoring game. Very interesting.
Defense.
I think you're going to lose just like you did last season, okay? And you had to sit there with me and watch it happen, okay?
All right, Mr. Trump. I might not agree with you politically on everything, but I think we might come to some agreement here. Freed, you're making a classic mistake, and that is not tempering your expectations. Folks, what's going to happen is that Texas A&M is going to come down, play us tough, and you know what? Miami is going to show flashes of the team that Mario Cristobal is going to have next year and the year after that. But what is ultimately going to happen is Texas A&M is going to win it 36-33.
36-33.
Dude, that's absolutely amazing.
Mr. Trump, Trumpinator, Trumpty Dumpty, do you have a final score prediction?
1,000,000-1, okay? We're going to 1,000,000-1, and it's going to be great. Miami's not even going to score. If they could get negative points, they're probably going to get negative points.
Fair enough. All right, so we don't quite agree, but we're close. All right, so we both got Texas A&M going to end. Let the record state, I hope that it doesn't happen. And, Freed, I will gladly buy you a Booch if it means that Miami beats Texas A&M here on Saturday.
It's called hedging your bets here,
That's
folks.
right. It's called hedging your Booch. And speaking of Booch, it's time for now the final thing that we do on Booch Ball, which is to give our final rating to the summer edition GT's Synergy Raw Kombucha Unity featuring cherry, coconut, and lemongrass. Freed, talk to me. What are you thinking about this Booch?
I'm thinking it's pretty good. To remind all the Boochies, our scale goes from 0 to 10. From the worst thing I ever tasted at 0, all the way to the best thing ever at 10. We typically hover around the 6, which is the would buy it. The 7 would recommend it. The 8, delicious. I would definitely buy this one. I might even recommend it. I might. I think I would. How about a 7.1?
All right. Very fair, Freed. Yeah, I was toying around with the idea of this being a delicious booch. But you know what, Freed? The more I kept drinking it, and this is a thing with GTs sometimes, because they're the big name brand kombucha, they try to make their booch for the masses. Just a man of the people,
It's the people's kombucha.
just like the Trumpinator.
It's no Trump bucha though.
But since I live in Brooklyn, I kind of have a refined taste when it comes to kombucha. But this was still very, very good. But you know what? It wasn't quite good as, Freed? It wasn't quite as good as the Health Aid pomegranate to me, which I gave a 7.9. But you know what? We're going to be real up close behind. It's going to be a 7.8 for the GT's Unity.
Okay, keeping it tight.
Mr. Trump?
Well, frankly, for me, this is the second best kombucha I've ever had. Okay, Trumbucha is probably the best, but this one's the second kombucha that I've had that was absolutely tremendous. The notes are super light and sweet, but not super caramely. Okay, we like to have something mild, not super syrupy, and it feels like it's diabetes in a bottle. Okay, this one quite.
Right.
I'm gonna give it a 9.33, repeating, of course.
Wow.
Ooh.
Damn, there's so many things that have been a first time on this episode, from calling the push to the first ever repeating digit score on Booch Ball.
Well,
Game changer.
especially repeating ones.
That's right. You've really come out here and changed the game. All right, folks. Well, that's all the time we have here on Booch Ball season number 4. 4 more years. 4 more years.
We're
4 more years.
We're not showing support for Harbaugh right
for
now.
Jim Harbaugh.
We're
Yeah.
not doing that.
Yeah. Well, we might not get 4 more years, but we got the 4 years that we got. Thank you, Aggie Donald Trump. Thank you so much for joining us. Are there any last words you'd like to leave with the loyal Boochies of the world?
Well, I'll tell you this. Keep doing what you're doing, okay? Sometimes it may seem tough, going to work and doing what you do, but you guys are what make the country go around, and we couldn't do anything without you guys. And so when times get tough, you got to kick life in the ass and keep going.
Wow. Now if that is not a message of unity for the American people, then ballpark, frankly, I don't know what is. Thank you, Boochies.
Hey, love thy neighbor as thy love thyself.
As thy love, thy Booch. Thank
Mr.
you all
Trump,
for joining us.
It's been a pleasure. We love you. And as always, stay cultured.